A man was arrested after crashing an SUV through the gates of the Russian consulate in Sydney on Monday, police said. According to Associated Press, police were called at 8 a.m. to the consulate in the eastern suburb of Woollahra, where an unauthorized vehicle was reported parked in the driveway. Police attempted to speak to the driver, but he drove the Toyota Kluger into the gates, the statement said. 2 police officers sustained minor injuries and were treated by paramedics. No one else was injured, police said. The SUV came to rest on the lawn near a flag pole on the consulate's grounds. A 39-year-old man was arrested. Police have released no details about his potential motivation or what charges might be considered. The Russian embassy in the Australian capital Canberra did not respond to a request for comment.
Fuel shortages in Russia are becoming increasingly threatening. If until recently interruptions were recorded only in certain regions of the Russian Federation, now the crisis is spreading from Primorye to Khabarovsk Krai and has already affected the Jewish Autonomous Region, Volgograd Region and Stavropol Krai. In the Jewish Autonomous Region, local authorities have officially acknowledged that the sale of gasoline to the population in the Leninsky district has been temporarily suspended. Fuel is allocated only for specialized equipment, ambulances, school buses, and life support services. According to the acting deputy chairman of the regional government, Valery Samkov, the reason was interruptions in supplies and the breakdown of agreements between suppliers and customers. In order to somehow control the situation, the authorities have brought in railway workers and started tracking tanks with fuel and lubricants. According to the Far Eastern Railway, the first batches of fuel should arrive within 3 days. However, local residents fear that even after the deliveries, normal operations of gas stations will not be restored because the crisis is already systemic. Problems with gasoline are also being recorded in other regions. In the Volgograd region, according to local media, there is simply no gasoline. In Stavropol, the situation is also critical. From the villages of Sovetskaya to the village of Privolny, only one gas station is functioning. Photos of empty gas stations are being circulated on the internet, for example, in the village of Kurskaya, where there is no fuel at all. Thus, the gasoline crisis is turning from a local problem into a nationwide one against the backdrop of ongoing removal of Russian refineries. Russian authorities pretend to have the situation under control, but in fact, we are talking about a critical fuel situation that has also affected millions of ordinary citizens. Let us recall that oil workers were urgently called together in Moscow due to the gasoline crisis. The situation is getting worse every day. Gas stations in Crimea and Transbaikalia are already working with coupons. In Primorye, there are hours-long queues, and in the Kuril Islands, they have stopped selling gasoline altogether. Against this backdrop, the exchange is breaking records. The blame for this lies not only with market speculation, but also with Ukrainian drone strikes on Russian refineries. The government is urgently looking for a solution. They are discussing the sale of strategic reserves, increasing the standard for exchange sales, and a ban on transactions in which companies formally sell fuel to themselves. But as Reuters sources note, even a ban on gasoline exports does not help. The deficit still remains.